Chapter 33:15. The path once strayed from. This time the soul-devouring bug could not survive. Lin Moyu precisely controlled his power, causing the already half-dead bug to perish completely. After death, the soul-devouring bug's body began to change, rapidly crystallizing into a crystal in the blink of an eye. This crystal was about a finger-length long. Lin Moyu held it in his hand, sensing a pure soul force from within.
Soul crystal.
Lin Moyu's mind stirred. The crystal formed from the dead soul-devouring bug was very similar to a soul crystal, just not as pure.
So this is a soul-devouring crystal. So that's what it looks like.
The Beast Emperor was clearly seeing a crystal from a dead soul-devouring bug for the first time. His voice slightly excited. Lin Moyu smiled and said,
It seems soul-devouring crystals are quite rare.
The Beast Emperor nodded.
Indeed rare. For us Great Tao Realm beings to improve is extremely difficult. Origin crystals are no longer useful to us. We need some extremely powerful and precious materials. Ice Fire Tao stones count as one, and soul-devouring crystals count as another.
Lin Moyu asked.
So which of these two is better?
The Beast Emperor said.
They can't be compared. Ice Fire Tao stones need to be refined, which is a rather long process and involves enduring some pain. Soul-devouring crystals can be directly absorbed, directly enhancing soul levels. But unlike Ice Fire Tao stones, a lot of time is needed afterwards to polish one's foundation. Comparatively, this emperor prefers soul-devouring crystals. After all, there's no suffering involved, and the time spent in the end isn't much different.
Lin Moyu laughed.
You're seeing a soul-devouring crystal for the first time. How do you know so much about it?
The Beast Emperor gave an awkward dry laugh.
It is my first time seeing one, that's true. But this emperor has heard about it from others several times. It can't be wrong.
Lin Moyu guessed that the Beast Emperor's so-called
heard from others
was likely just hearsay passed down. Lin Moyu said,
Then I'll give you this soul-devouring crystal.
The Beast Emperor was stunned.
You're giving it all to me? Soul-devouring crystals can be divided.
Lin Moyu refused.
No need. I'm still far from the Great Tao Realm anyway, so I have no use for this thing. When I reach the Great Tao Realm someday, if Elder Beast Emperor has any good things then, just don't forget about me.
The Beast Emperor didn't expect Lin Moyu to be so generous. While feeling a bit embarrassed, he decisively didn't refuse.
Then this emperor won't be polite. Rest assured, Brother Lin, if there are any benefits in the future, I'll definitely include you.
A single soul-devouring crystal directly bought over the Beast Emperor. Their level of closeness rapidly increased, changing from
friend
to
brother.
However, how much gold content there was in this
brother
title only heaven knew. With the soul-devouring bug dead, the entire valley's formation was considered broken. The two strode into the most core area of the 100 Herbs Alliance. Upon entering, Lin Moyu slightly furrowed his brow. The valley was divided into two parts. One part was deathly still, while the other part was full of vitality. This scene was too familiar to him. It was just like his own undying Great Tao. One side was death, one side was life. Lin Moyu thought to himself,
could Withering and Flourishing Elder also be comprehending the undying Great Tao? But what he displayed in previous battles wasn't the undying Great Tao.
At this moment, the Beast Emperor's voice sounded in his ear.
It said that Withering and Flourishing once obtained an item. That item recorded a supreme Great Tao, which he's been trying to comprehend. It was also because of that item that he changed his name to Withering and Flourishing. He calls this path the life and death path, said to allow one to comprehend life and death.
Lin Moyu asked softly,
Do you know what kind of item it is?
At this moment, a strange sense of urgency arose in his heart. The undying Great Tao was his innate Great Tao, undoubtedly the most important of the 6 Great Taos he possessed. He had never seen anyone else comprehend the undying Great Tao. Even in the information he had obtained, there wasn't a trace of information about the undying Great Tao. This made him develop an illusion that the undying Great Tao was something unique to him. Now suddenly seeing withering and flourishing elder seemingly comprehending the undying Great Tao. Even if it was just a possibility, he wanted to know the answer. Unfortunately, the Beast Emperor couldn't give Lin Moyu an accurate answer. The Beast Emperor said,
I only know that item is extraordinary, but I'm not clear on exactly what it is.
Withering and flourishing elder had even changed his name because of this item. How could it be a simple thing? Lin Moyu knew he couldn't get an answer from the Beast Emperor's mouth, so he could only observe for himself. He sensed the auras of life and death coming from both sides. Gradually, his furrowed brow slowly relaxed. Withering and flourishing hadn't comprehended the undying Great Tao, at least not yet. The death and life here were all artificially arranged, unrelated to the Great Tao. There was a trace of life and death power within, but it was different from the undying Great Tao. It was similar but not the same. Lin Moyu secretly breathed a sigh of relief.
Strange, why did I care so much about whether withering and flourishing elder would comprehend the undying Great Tao? Many people comprehending the same Great Tao should be a very normal thing. Why did I have such an emotional reaction? Innate Great Tao, sudden inspiration. Could it be that something is still hidden within the undying Great Tao? It seems I need to put more thought into the undying Great Tao. The undying Great Tao is my fundamental Great Tao. With life undying, as long as the undying Great Tao is completed, why worry about other Great Taos not succeeding?
A flash of inspiration made Lin Moyu suddenly realize that he had strayed from his path again. The sudden burst of thoughts made Lin Moyu stop, standing motionless in place. The Beast Emperor also stopped with him. He didn't urge Lin Moyu, just quietly waited. Lin Moyu's current state was very much like a cultivator's sudden enlightenment. Thunder and lightning flashed in Lin Moyu's soul world. In an extremely short time, he reviewed his entire cultivation process, walking again the path he had once walked. Finally, Lin Moyu realized that in his choices time and time again, not every choice had been correct. Many times, choices that seemed correct had actually led him astray. It wasn't that he had gone completely wrong, but that he had chosen a path that wasn't the most direct. Condensing Tao patterns wasn't wrong, comprehending Great Taos was also right, but he shouldn't have put the undying Great Tao on the same level as other Great Taos. The undying Great Tao was the first Great Tao he comprehended, and also his innate Great Tao. His ability to achieve such accomplishments was due to the crucial role played by the undying Great Tao. It could be said that without the undying Great Tao, his cultivation path wouldn't have been so smooth. As he comprehended more and more Great Taos later, the role of the undying Great Tao gradually weakened. Especially after comprehending illusory type Great Taos, the role of the undying Great Tao became even less apparent. More often, he used the power of life, the power Great Tao in coordination, or just to heal injuries. He had never truly unleashed the true power of the undying Great Tao. Unknowingly, he used the undying Great Tao less and less frequently. Though it was his innate Great Tao, it had come to stand on equal footing with the other Great Taos, even inferior to some of the later comprehended Great Taos. Now, Lin Moyu suddenly realized this was wrong. The 6 Great Taos he possessed too real, too illusory. With time and space, Great Taos between reality and illusion seemed to maintain a perfect balance. But thinking about it now, besides balance, the 6 Great Taos also needed a leader. This leader wasn't himself, but one of the 6 Great Taos.
Using the undying Great Tao to command the other Great Taos, perhaps this is the correct answer.
Lightning danced wildly in his soul world. Lin Moyu's comprehension of the Great Tao deepened at an astonishing speed. The 81st Tao pattern that was about to be completed was instantly finished. Then he began to condense the 82nd Tao pattern. At the same time, a strange aura emanated from Lin Moyu's body. The Beast Emperor murmured softly,
He's really had an enlightenment.
Chapter 33:16. Late Stage 8th Grade Innate Soul. Lin Moyu's sudden enlightenment was both expected and unexpected for the Beast Emperor. Enlightenment is rare. Most cultivators can't experience even one enlightenment in their entire lives. Even those with exceptional talent rarely achieve enlightenment. Enlightenment requires not just talent, but also opportunity. But the Beast Emperor was only slightly surprised by Lin Moyu's enlightenment, then felt it was quite ordinary. Having seen too many miracles, when Lin Moyu suddenly had an enlightenment, the Beast Emperor felt it was almost normal. In his countless years, the Beast Emperor had seen innumerable cultivators. Lin Moyu was in a league of his own, incomparable to anyone else. Whatever happened to Lin Moyu, there was no need for surprise. The Beast Emperor's surprise lasted only an instant before he sighed softly.
Such talent, it's truly enviable. I wonder what insights he's gained.
He looked around at the life and death energies, but couldn't sense much after observing for a long time. At this moment, Lin Moyu's inner world was in turmoil. In his soul world, 6 great Taos appeared, with the undying great Tao connecting to the other 5. It wasn't a true connection of the great Taos, but a connection of their essences in a sense. He repeatedly manifested each great Tao's true form, using himself as a medium to make the essences of the great Taos interact. Having experience with fusing the time and space great Taos before, Lin Moyu was familiar with this process. As the essences of the great Taos fused under Lin Moyu's guidance, the previously equal great Taos gradually developed a hierarchy. The undying great Tao, as Lin Moyu's innate great Tao, began to rise in status. The other 5 great Taos became subordinate to the undying great Tao. Lin Moyu's comprehension of the undying great Tao erupted like a volcano. His powers of death and life increased dramatically. Suddenly, gray and white energies appeared in his soul world. They danced like 2 long dragons, spreading their essence throughout his soul world. Soon, his entire soul world was enveloped by the gray and white energies. Lin Moyu had an epiphany and slowly opened his soul's eyes, taking a deep breath to absorb all the gray and white energies, along with the 2 dragons. His soul was filled with the life and death powers of the undying Great Tao. At this moment, his soul felt as if it was merging with the Great Tao. He had comprehended and controlled Great Taos before, even invoking their power and manifesting their true forms, but he had never felt this sense of fusion with a Great Tao. The feeling of merging with the Great Tao was marvelous. It was Lin Moyu's first time experiencing it, and in an instant he became captivated, almost unable to extricate himself. He had felt something similar before when receiving rewards in the Great World and when receiving Great Tao rewards, but it wasn't as clear as now. Lin Moyu felt his closeness to the Great Tao increasing. Increasing closeness to the Great Tao was a broad way of saying that his soul level had improved. Previously his soul was already an 8th grade innate soul, but he wasn't sure exactly what stage it was at within the 8th grade early, middle, or late stage. But now, Lin Moyu clearly sensed his current level. The Great Tao told him that his soul level had advanced from mid-stage 8th grade to late stage. However, his realm was still low, so he couldn't freely wield Great Tao power like other Great Tao realm experts. When he reached the Great Tao realm, he would be able to skip a level and rival many veteran Great Tao realm experts. In other words, his foundation was becoming more and more solid, just waiting for an opportunity to soar. The lightning and thunder in his soul gradually dissipated as this enlightenment came to an end. Lin Moyu tried hard to remember the feeling of merging with the Great Tao, maintaining this state as much as possible to carefully experience it. This state was extremely beneficial for his cultivation. Perhaps no practical benefits could be seen on the surface, but imperceptibly accumulating over time, the benefits would become greater and greater. Lin Moyu's soul murmured to itself,
"This enlightenment has yielded significant gains. I understand the path I need to take going forward, correcting the detours I had taken before. Being a jack of all trades sometimes means being a master of none. There's reason in the saying one trick is enough to eat all over the world. I should focus on the undying Great Tao as the main path, with the other 5 Great Taos as support, walking a path of undying immortality."
For Lin Moyu, the improvement in soul level was secondary. The greatest gain this time was understanding the path he needed to take in the future. It was fortunate to have this enlightenment. If he had continued on without realizing, he would have strayed further and further, making it increasingly difficult to return to the right path. With a thought, the gray and white undying Great Tao surrounded him, while the other 5 Great Taos appeared at his feet. From this moment, the hierarchy between the Great Taos became clear. With a late-stage 8th grade innate soul, clothed in the undying Great Tao and standing atop the 5 other Great Taos, he emanated a profound pressure. He was like an emperor, using the undying Great Tao as his imperial robe and armor, inspecting his generals. In the physical world, a heavy pressure suddenly emanated from Lin Moyu's body. The beast emperor beside him shuddered, his aura violently churning.
Such strong pressure. Brother Lin actually possesses an innate soul.
The beast emperor couldn't help exclaiming, his voice filled with shock. The pressure Lin Moyu unconsciously released had already surpassed the Tao Venerable level. The beast emperor clearly understood what this pressure represented. Lin Moyu's future attainment of the Great Tao realm was now certain. Most terrifying was that the beast emperor felt the pressure Lin Moyu released seemed even stronger than his own. He realized that Lin Moyu's soul level might be even higher than his own. Though he had the suspicion, he dared not believe it. The pressure came suddenly and disappeared just as suddenly. Before the beast emperor could figure it out, the pressure had vanished. Lin Moyu slowly opened his eyes. There was no sharp light in his eyes, only extreme gentleness.
Thank you, Elder Beast Emperor, for protecting me.
The beast emperor suppressed his inner shock and laughed heartily.
Brother Lin is too polite. Congratulations on your enlightenment and great progress in cultivation.
Lin Moyu smiled humbly.
This enlightenment only made me realize I had taken some detours before. After this, I understand how to proceed on my future path.
The beast emperor laughed even more loudly.
That's even more worth celebrating than progress in cultivation.
For cultivators, progress in cultivation is temporary, but finding the right path is more important. Lin Moyu nodded.
Indeed worth celebrating. Only by walking the right path can one go further.
The beast emperor said,
If this emperor is not mistaken, Brother Lin's soul has already reached the innate soul level, right?
Lin Moyu didn't deny it.
Indeed, it has reached the innate soul level.
The beast emperor sighed.
4th level Tao Venerable with an innate soul. Brother Lin's future entry into the great Tao realm is inevitable. Even the heavenly tribulation will be much weaker.
The higher the soul level, the weaker the tribulation. With Lin Moyu's soul level, the heavenly tribulation he would face later wouldn't be too strong. Combined with Lin Moyu's own strength, entering the Great Tao realm would be no problem. Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Then I'll take Elder Beast Emperor's auspicious words. I also hope I can smoothly enter the Great Tao realm.
As mist swirled, the beast emperor spoke.
Brother Lin, there are some things this emperor feels should be told to you.
Chapter 33:17. Waiting for an opportunity to soar. The beast emperor hesitated noticeably as he said this, clearly having some reservations. Lin Moyu said,
If Elder Beast Emperor finds it difficult, you don't have to say it.
Lin Moyu understood the beast emperor's personality very well. This method of backing off to advance worked very effectively on the beast emperor. The more he said this, the more the beast emperor would tell him. The beast emperor said,
Actually, if Brother Lin wasn't also walking the path of Tao patterns, there are some things this emperor couldn't say.
The beast emperor naturally cultivated Tao patterns, which was the most orthodox cultivation path. However, due to some special reasons after the origin catastrophe, the method of cultivating Tao patterns was lost. It was as if an invisible hand had completely erased the correct cultivation method, not allowing people to know it. Now, on the origin continent, besides the few great Tao realm beings like the Beast Emperor, very few knew the method of cultivating Tao patterns. Even the ancestors of the Great Holy Lands didn't know, and also followed the current cultivation methods. At the time, Lin Moyu also found it strange. Since the 3 ancestors knew the correct cultivation method, why didn't they spread it, instead letting countless people take detours? Thinking about it later, they must have had no choice, surely having reasons they couldn't speak of. Lin Moyu didn't speak. He just listened quietly. The Beast Emperor sighed and continued.
It involves some secrets. Some things can't be told to outsiders. Can't be told to outsiders, but Brother Lin isn't an outsider. There's no problem telling you a bit. With Brother Lin's knowledge, you should know that many things have been buried by time. For example, this method of cultivating doubt patterns, it's not that we don't want to tell, but that we can't tell. Not only can we not speak of the doubt pattern cultivation method, we can't even speak of the lesser method of breaking through to the great Tao realm. Only when we encounter someone like Brother Lin, who already knows how to cultivate doubt patterns and has embarked on the doubt pattern cultivation path, can we speak of it.
Lin Moyu asked.
Who set these rules? The Great Tao?
The Beast Emperor said.
It's a long story. Let's talk as we walk.
They walked along the path of intertwining life and death as the Beast Emperor slowly explained.
There are 3 great Taos, named time, years, and fate. The time great Tao governs the river of time, encompassing past and present. The years great Tao governs what has been. It seems to overlap with the river of time, but it's not so. The years great Tao has the ability to erase certain things from the river of time. But this doesn't mean the years great Tao is superior to the time great Tao. The two are parallel, both primordial great Taos, just with different responsibilities. The time great Tao is responsible for recording, while the years great Tao is responsible for erasing the past.
Lin Moyu listened carefully, then said,
So the fate great Tao is responsible for erasing the future?
The Beast Emperor said.
Though not entirely correct, it's close enough. With the 3 working together, no one except the Tao Lords can defy them. Before entering the origin continent, we all swore great Taos not to leak the Tao pattern cultivation method, nor reveal the method of breaking through to the great Tao realm.
The Beast Emperor explained why they couldn't speak of it, because they had sworn oaths. If they leaked information about the Tao pattern cultivation method to others, they would be punished. That's why he had hesitated so much when asking Lin Moyu earlier. Lin Moyu asked,
What if I had answered that I wasn't cultivating the Tao pattern method?
The Beast Emperor replied without hesitation.
Then this emperor would have passed on the Tao pattern method to Brother Lin. With Brother Lin's talent, not cultivating Tao patterns would be too much of a waste.
Lin Moyu felt somewhat moved. Even knowing he might be punished, the Beast Emperor still asked him. And he was prepared to pass on the Tao pattern cultivation method if Lin Moyu's cultivation method was incorrect. The Great Tao's punishment wouldn't be light. The Beast Emperor would certainly have to pay a price. Yet even so, he still decided to do this. Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Thank you, Elder Beast Emperor. Fortunately, this junior didn't disappoint you.
The Beast Emperor said,
Brother Lin, don't be so polite. What's our relationship? A little punishment is nothing. May I ask where Brother Lin obtained the Tao pattern cultivation method?
Lin Moyu said,
Once the 3 ancestors had me go to the ruins of the god-slaying sect. I obtained the Tao pattern cultivation method from there, as well as the method for those ancestors to break through to the great Tao realm.
The Beast Emperor laughed.
The 3 ancestors truly live up to being businessmen. Even when the great Tao forbids speaking of it, they can find loopholes. Brother Lin, do you know why the great Tao hides this information?
Lin Moyu shook his head, indicating he didn't know. The Beast Emperor said,
The great Tao is supremely impartial. It actually has no self-awareness, only instinct. The great Tao will only use the most direct and simple methods to solve problems. After the origin catastrophe, 5 of the 9 continents sank, the divine continent Cauldron was lost, and the origin continent was gravely injured. Moreover, the cancer within the origin continent still exists, not yet completely resolved. To preserve the origin continent's vitality, the great Tao had no choice but to restrict the cultivation paths on the origin continent. Except for a very small number of people, most will have no chance. Every great Tao realm achievement requires the support of a large amount of origin power, and this origin power comes from the origin continent.
With the origin continent severely damaged, the Great Tao chose to cut costs and increase income. It erased the correct cultivation methods, making it difficult for cultivators on the origin continent to advance to the Great Tao realm. But according to the Beast Emperor, the path to advancing to the Great Tao realm wasn't completely blocked. This also confirmed Lin Moyu's understanding of the Great Tao. It would always leave a glimmer of hope. That said, the fact remained that over countless years, no one had advanced to the Great Tao realm. It was impossible that no geniuses had appeared in so many years. Lin Moyu asked,
But after so many years, no more Great Tao realm beings have appeared on the origin continent?
The Beast Emperor said,
Not only was the origin continent itself damaged, its destiny was also severely injured. It's already very difficult for new Great Tao realm beings to appear. Add to that the Great Tao's restrictions, and it becomes even more difficult. There are naturally geniuses, so over these years, some have become pseudo-Great Tao realm beings. Those pseudo-Great Tao realm isn't Great Tao realm. They can similarly live forever without worrying about lifespan. They just need to wait for an opportunity. When the opportunity comes, they can naturally soar and achieve the Great Tao.
Lin Moyu asked further,
What opportunity?
The Beast Emperor said,
This emperor doesn't know exactly what opportunity, but it can be certain that it will be an unimaginable upheaval of heaven and earth. At that time, the stars will shift and the world will be turned upside down. Everything will become different. That will be the turning point for all geniuses, and also the turning point for us old fellows, and even more so the turning point for the origin continent.
Lin Moyu's expression became serious.
Does Elder Beast Emperor know when?
The Beast Emperor said,
Unknown. Everything is unknown. We few have been here for so many years, always waiting. Perhaps this opportunity will come in the next second, or perhaps we'll have to wait another few 100,000 years. But as long as one enters the pseudo-Great Tao realm, they can afford to wait several 100,000 years. Brother Lin, you must wait for the opportunity to soar.
Chapter 33:18. Plant whatever you want. The Beast Emperor spoke casually, and he was right for Great Tao realm beings like them who wouldn't die barring accidents. Even a few million years wasn't an unbearable wait. This further illustrated that the Beast Emperor, 3 ancestors, King of the Boundary Sea, and the exiled Withering and Flourishing Elder must have had enormous plans for finding ways to enter the origin continent. It must be to wait for that opportunity, that upheaval of heaven and earth, to see how the world would change. If the origin continent truly underwent a dramatic change that benefited cultivators, the first to benefit would naturally be the cultivators on the origin continent. And with the Beast Emperor's group controlling vast resources and occupying large territories on the origin continent, they would undoubtedly benefit the most, far surpassing others. Lin Moyu gradually began to understand the true purpose of the Beast Emperor and the others coming to the origin continent. It was for that upheaval, waiting for an opportunity. But the Beast Emperor didn't say exactly what benefits they could gain, only calling it a turning point. Lin Moyu didn't pursue the question further. He knew this was a great secret of the Beast Emperor's group, not something he could ask about. He could only say that this turning point was immensely important to them. For this turning point, they gave up countless years of cultivation time in the great Taos beyond. On the origin continent, their cultivation was difficult to improve, but they all believed that for this turning point, it was worth it. Moreover, according to the Beast Emperor, in this great upheaval, those cultivators who could become pseudo-Great Tao realm could take another step forward to become true Great Tao realm. Their ability to achieve pseudo-Great Tao realm in an environment where the path forward was almost cut off had already proven their talent. This was also a selection by the Great Tao for the origin continent under strong restrictions, selecting the most outstanding individuals. Lin Moyu pondered for a moment, then said softly,
Why do I feel like this seems to be an elaborately arranged situation? Does the Great Tao really have no consciousness?
The Beast Emperor said with certainty.
The Great Tao has no consciousness, this is beyond doubt. However, the Great Tao has extremely strong instincts. It can make many decisions smarter than intelligent beings.
Lin Moyu didn't doubt the Beast Emperor's words.
What exactly is the Great Tao? Which great Tao is it exactly?
Lin Moyu had always been curious about which specific great Tao was meant by.
The great Tao.
He knew it wasn't the time great Tao or the space great Tao, so which great Tao was it exactly? The Beast Emperor laughed.
When we speak of the great Tao, we don't mean any specific great Tao, but rather the collective instinctive consciousness of all great Taos. All primordial great Taos converge together to form a collective with instinctive consciousness. It represents all great Taos.
Lin Moyu showed some surprise.
So that's how it is.
The Beast Emperor said.
Now you understand. On the origin continent, everything is controlled by it, because it represents all great Taos. It is the supreme existence. However, it's said that powerful Tao lords can stand as equals with the great Tao, but this emperor doesn't know if that's true.
The Beast Emperor spoke frankly. When he said his level was limited and he didn't know something, he really didn't know. Lin Moyu suddenly smiled.
It might not necessarily control everything on the origin continent, right? For example, those beings at the bottom of the boundary sea, and the origin ancestral land.
The Beast Emperor laughed.
You're just nitpicking.
Lin Moyu said.
Well, am I right or not?
The Beast Emperor said.
You're right, no problem. Those beings at the bottom of the boundary sea are indeed troublesome. And I suspect the great upheaval will be related to them. Perhaps when there's a way to deal with them, it will trigger the great upheaval. This emperor has discussed with the three ancestors before. The great upheaval should need a catalyst. We just haven't found the catalyst yet. Perhaps it's at the bottom of the boundary sea, or maybe in the origin ancestral land.
The Beast Emperor had gotten into the topic and started talking non-stop.
Regarding the origin ancestral land, how much does Brother Lin know?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
I've only heard there's such a place. I don't know anything else.
The Beast Emperor laughed.
It's right that you don't know. Actually, this emperor doesn't know either. It's all hearsay. The origin ancestral land has appeared many times. The intervals between appearances vary in length, hard to determine the timing. The number of people who can enter the origin ancestral land each time also varies, never fixed. The only certainty is that only Tao Venerables can enter. Moreover, the origin ancestral land has an age limit. Those too old can't enter. The three ancestors and I have tried. The limit is 100,000 years old. Tao Venerables over 100,000 years old can't enter.
This information was all new to Lin Moyu. The origin ancestral land actually had restrictions on age and cultivation level. Tao Venerables under 100,000 years old could enter. This was the basic condition, though it was quite lenient. Normally, it wouldn't be a problem. If someone couldn't cultivate to Tao Venerable by 100,000 years old, their life was probably over anyway. Lin Moyu said.
The three ancestors told me that the child of Yin would definitely be able to enter.
The Beast Emperor said.
That's right, the child of Yin can definitely enter. The child of Yang can enter too. But over all these years, while a few children of Yin have appeared, not a single child of Yang has shown up. Brother Lin is the child of Yin. When the origin ancestral land appears, you'll definitely have to enter. All I can say is, be very careful once you're inside.
Lin Moyu was stunned.
Is the origin ancestral land that dangerous?
The Beast Emperor said.
It's actually not too bad. Most people can come back alive. But strangely, no child of Yang has ever returned, and only a very few children of Yin have come back.
Lin Moyu thought for a moment.
Not returning doesn't necessarily mean they died.
The Beast Emperor made a sound of agreement.
That's right, not returning doesn't mean they died. Moreover, the origin ancestral land is a very strange place. Some people come back with their memories intact, but some return with their memories in disorder. A few even went mad. Brother Lin, can you understand this? A Tao Venerable, actually going mad.
Lin Moyu echoed the Beast Emperor's words.
It is indeed strange. Making a Tao Venerable go mad isn't easy.
The Beast Emperor then told everything he knew about the origin ancestral land. Fortunately, Withering and Flourishing Elders Valley was large enough for the Beast Emperor to talk at length. The Beast Emperor turned into a chatterbox, speaking in great detail until he had told Lin Moyu everything, finally giving Lin Moyu some understanding of the Origin Ancestral Land. In the Beast Emperor's words, the Origin Ancestral Land was not only strange but also very dangerous. The Beast Emperor advised Lin Moyu more than once not to take risks. However, Lin Moyu was deeply interested in the Origin Ancestral Land. He had made a promise to the three ancestors that when the Origin Ancestral Land opened, he would enter and share the information and resources he obtained inside with the three ancestors. Thinking back now, it seemed the three ancestors were certain he could return. Yet, according to the Beast Emperor, historically there were no examples of children of Yin returning after entering. Why did the three ancestors believe he would definitely return? Lin Moyu thought to himself,
The three ancestors must know something.
Finally, they reached the end of the path of life and death and truly entered the valley. This journey had been quite rewarding for Lin Moyu. Not only did he gain an enlightenment, but he also obtained a lot of information from the Beast Emperor, which might prove very useful at some point in the future. As they left the path of life and death, a strange aura hit them. This aura seemed to contain endless vitality, flowing continuously. The Beast Emperor pointed ahead.
This is the treasure ground for spirit plant rebirth. This emperor will erase Withering and Flourishing Soul imprint for Brother Lin. After Brother Lin refines it, you can plant whatever you want.
Chapter 33:19. Suddenly feeling sorry for Withering and Flourishing Elder. In the Beast Emperor's words, the treasure ground used by Withering and Flourishing Elder for spirit plant rebirth was like a vegetable garden. Plant whatever you want. As he spoke, the Beast Emperor began erasing Withering and Flourishing Elder's soul imprint. While working, the Beast Emperor explained,
This treasure ground actually has another name, the Spirit Rotation Blessed Land. Once a Spirit Rotation Blessed Land is formed, it cannot be moved or stored in Irul's world. It must remain where it is. So, Brother Lin, think carefully about what you want to plant. It's best to plant something that doesn't require much care. Anything planted here, whether flowers, grass, or trees, can become spiritual entities.
The Beast Emperor explained the uses of the Spirit Rotation Blessed Land. Anything planted on it could survive. Even ordinary rice planted here could become spiritual rice, a treasure for cultivation. In the Great Taos beyond, some people used it to grow various spiritual materials and grains. This secret technique was only effective for plant-based life forms and required a special method to separate a trace of true spirit. Only then could a trace of vitality be left behind after death. Withering and Flourishing Elder controlled this trace of true spirit, which essentially meant he controlled the life and death of all Tao venerables in the 100 Herbs Alliance. Lin Moyu pondered the Beast Emperor's words, considering a possibility. He didn't have any seeds to plant, but if not plants, could he plant something else? Lin Moyu asked.
Are there many Spirit Rotation Blessed Lands in the Great Taos beyond?
The Beast Emperor said,
Not many, but not too few either. There used to be many of them, but their numbers decreased after that catastrophe. Fortunately, they are not consumable resources. As long as some remain, they can continue to be used. So this thing isn't particularly precious in the Great Taos beyond, but on the Origin continent, it's quite rare. Brother Lin can make good use of it.
As he spoke, the Beast Emperor successfully erased Withering and Flourishing Elder's soul imprint. The Beast Emperor's soul level was higher than Withering and Flourishing Elder's, so erasing his soul imprint wasn't difficult. Even Lin Moyu could have done it himself, it just would have taken much longer. It might have taken years to wear it down. Having the Beast Emperor handle it was naturally better. It only took a few minutes to complete. With the soul imprint erased, the Spirit Rotation Blessed Land became ownerless again. Lin Moyu quickly left his own soul imprint on it and completed its refinement. The Beast Emperor said,
Take your time deciding what to plant. There's no rush. Let's keep moving. I remember Withering and Flourishing Elder had something good here that he probably didn't take with him.
The two walked past the Spirit Rotation Blessed Land and deeper into the valley. The deeper parts of the valley were lavishly arranged. Withering and Flourishing Elder had lived here for countless years and had made his home quite comfortable. It was clear that apart from Withering and Flourishing Elder himself, there were usually no outsiders here. Lin Moyu stood in the valley and scanned it thoroughly but found nothing unusual for now. There were no formations or hidden places. The entire valley was visible at a glance. The Beast Emperor lightly coughed as a drop of blood flew out from within his misty aura. The Beast Emperor's blood radiated astonishing power. Even space around it warped. Just this one drop of blood was enough to crush a Dao venerable below 4th level. Then the blood began burning fiercely. Using his blood as fuel, flames erupted high into the sky. The flames flickered continuously. After several seconds, they suddenly pointed in a specific direction. The Beast Emperor said,
"Found it. It's hidden quite well. Fortunately, I have my methods."
Where the flames pointed appeared to be an ordinary mountain wall, nothing unusual at first glance. The Beast Emperor led Lin Moyu over and followed the flame's guidance to pull at something with his hand. From the mountain wall, he pulled down an entire piece of bark. The bark was large, several meters wide and tall, but it was already withered and lifeless. It seemed to have some special purpose. After removing the bark, Lin Moyu discovered a cave behind it. Even his spiritual perception hadn't detected this cave earlier. Clearly, this bark was extraordinary. Lin Moyu examined it carefully and was slightly startled.
"Is this Withering and Flourishing Elder's bark?"
The Beast Emperor said.
"To be precise, it's dead bark left behind after Withering and Flourishing shed his skin."
Lin Moyu asked in confusion.
"Withering and Flourishing shed skin?"
The Beast Emperor nodded.
"Withering and Flourishing isn't an ordinary tree. His true form is called the 1,000-layer tree. Every 10,000 years, he sheds his skin once. Each time he sheds skin, his power increases slightly. After accumulating this process 1,000 times, he can advance one realm. For example, from 9th grade innate soul in Great Dao realm to 8th grade innate soul."
Lin Moyu clicked his tongue in amazement.
"There's actually such a tree."
Shedding skin every 10,000 years to advance once every 10 million years, if time were sufficient, wouldn't that mean Withering and Flourishing Elder could theoretically improve infinitely? Combined with Great Dao Realm being's immunity to aging, wouldn't that mean Withering and Flourishing Elder had no limits? The Beast Emperor guessed what Lin Moyu was thinking and laughed heartily.
"Of course it's not that simple. When completing 1,000 sheds of skin, he must undergo a trial. You can think of it as heavenly punishment. If he passes, he advances. If not, he perishes completely."
Indeed, the Great Dao is fair. Everything must remain balanced. The Beast Emperor tossed the bark to Lin Moyu.
"This bark is decent material. Brother Lin should keep it."
Lin Moyu accepted it without hesitation. The bark was indeed good material, judging by its quality. It was at least 8th level Dao venerable grade.
"It seems Withering and Flourishing Elder is truly full of treasures."
Lin Moyu joked as he followed the Beast Emperor into the cave. The Beast Emperor said seriously,
"You're right. The 1,000-layer tree is full of treasures. In fact, in realms beyond, the 1,000-layer tree has been hunted by powerful beings who kill them for their sap, to refine pills, and use other parts for crafting tools. So someone like Withering and Flourishing returning to realms beyond won't necessarily have an easy life. He'll have to tread carefully. This guy really is pitiful, preparing for so many years on the origin continent only for everything to end in failure."
Lin Moyu suddenly felt some sympathy for Withering and Flourishing Elder. Being constantly targeted must be unbearable. The cave was deep. After several twists and turns, they finally reached its end. After rounding one last corner, a brilliant light appeared before them along with a faint fragrance filling their senses. What was strange was that before turning this corner, they hadn't noticed anything at all. All light and scent had been completely sealed off until now. Lin Moyu saw a small pool, not more than 1 meter across, with a thin layer of transparent liquid inside emitting that faint fragrance. At its center lay something fist-sized resembling a seed, but radiating dazzling light, and within that light, Lin Moyu sensed sharp energy emanating from it. The Beast Emperor smiled.
I wasn't wrong. It really is a great Dao sword core.
Lin Moyu asked curiously.
What is a great Dao sword core?
The Beast Emperor explained.
A great Dao sword core is a treasure nurtured by the sword Great Dao itself, a supreme treasure for sword cultivators. It has many uses. It can be refined into an unparalleled sword, or used to temper one's sword intent, or even enhance one's soul level. The 81 swords suppressing heaven and earth were all made from Great Dao sword cores as their fundamental material. 10,000 years ago, with formations, Withering and Flourishing Elder pulled something down from beyond, and I suspected then it might be this, and I wasn't wrong.
Chapter 33:20. A spring compressed to its limit can always bounce higher. According to the Beast Emperor, after obtaining the Great Dao Sword Core, Withering and Flourishing Elder had been trying to refine it into his new avatar. Withering and Flourishing Elder even used the sap from his own body for refinement, but unfortunately he never succeeded. The Great Dao Sword Core was special. Only those who cultivated the Sword Great Dao could use it. Even as a Great Dao realm being, Withering and Flourishing Elder could do nothing with the Great Dao Sword Core. But he didn't give up. For a full 100,000 years, he kept trying to refine it, but never succeeded. The sap was equivalent to Withering and Flourishing Elder's blood. The method he used was called blood refinement, a technique specifically for refining difficult-to-refine treasures. The Beast Emperor waved his hand, drawing the Great Dao Sword Core to him. As soon as the Great Dao Sword Core left, the sap in the pool instantly turned to mist and completely dried up. The Beast Emperor handed the Great Dao Sword Core to Lin Moyu.
Keep it. It might be useful in the future. Even if you can't use it yourself, you can sell it for a good price to exchange for some precious items. Remember, don't sell it to the three ancestors now. If you want to sell it, wait until you reach the Great Dao realm and exchange it for items used by Great Dao realm beings.
The Beast Emperor added this caution, afraid Lin Moyu might be taken advantage of. Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Thank you, Elder Beast Emperor.
The Beast Emperor said,
There's no need for such formalities between us.
Lin Moyu had actually already thought of a use for the Great Dao Sword Core. As a Great Dao realm treasure, it couldn't be used to summon elemental liches for now. Moreover, the most suitable place for the Great Dao Sword Core should be to give it to Lin Mohan. His elder sister cultivated the Sword Dao. The Great Dao Sword Core was practically tailor-made for her. Withering and Flourishing Elder's good items weren't just the Spirit Rotation Blessed Land and the Great Dao Sword Core, but those things were basically all on his person. When he left, they left the origin continent with him. What remained were only things that couldn't be taken away, like the Great Dao Sword Core. After taking the Great Dao Sword Core and leaving the cave, the Beast Emperor smiled and said,
All right, this Emperor should be going now. From now on, this territory is yours. How to handle it is up to you.
Lin Moyu bowed to the Beast Emperor.
Thank you, Elder Beast Emperor.
The Beast Emperor chuckled.
Don't be so polite. Come visit this Emperor for tea and chat when you have time.
As his words fell, the Beast Emperor turned into a mist and vanished without a trace. The valley suddenly became quiet. Lin Moyu looked at the Spirit Rotation Blessed Land. This Spirit Rotation Blessed Land had already connected to the earth of the origin continent and couldn't be separated. Over countless years, Withering and Flourishing Elder had made many arrangements. Below the Spirit Rotation Blessed Land, several origin spirit veins were connected to it, providing origin power. Although the Spirit Rotation Blessed Land could absorb origin power from heaven and earth on its own, with origin spirit veins providing assistance, its effects could be further enhanced. Lin Moyu had already decided what to plant. With a thought, a huge crystal appeared in midair. Like Sleeping Beauty, Lillian was sleeping inside the crystal. Her soul was recovering, but the recovery speed was extremely slow. Moreover, her soul wasn't injured, so spirit flowers couldn't be used to speed up her recovery.
The Spirit Rotation Blessed Land can grow spiritual flowers and herbs. I wonder if it can help Lillian recover.
Lilian's current state was somewhat similar to a Tao Venerable who had used spirit plant rebirth. Both were living beings, just different in form. Lin Moyu thought it should work. He placed the crystal coffin containing Lilian into the spirit rotation blessed land. Immediately, soil from the spirit rotation blessed land flew up as if alive, crawling over the crystal coffin. In a moment, the crystal coffin was enveloped by the spiritual soil from the spirit rotation blessed land. Lin Moyu sensed the changes in Lilian and found that her soul's recovery speed was gradually accelerating.
It's indeed effective. At this rate, she'll fully recover in at most 100 years.
Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief. He had fulfilled most of his promise to Lilian. Because he couldn't find the soul venerable, he still couldn't revive Lilian's people, but at least Lilian could come back to life. That was enough. There are too many unsatisfactory things in the world. It's impossible for everything to go as one wishes. Lilian was once a member of the Starry Sky Divine Spirit race, but after that sacrifice, she was no longer one. Revived by Xiao Hoyuan, Lilian had a completely new identity, no different from other humans on the origin continent. Except for her unchanged appearance, some marks that once belonged to the Starry Sky Divine Spirit race had also disappeared. Lilian had become a completely new being. Looking towards the distance at the endless path of life and death, Lin Moyu showed a hint of disdain.
Neither one thing nor the other, no use in keeping it.
With a flick of his finger, death force fell like raindrops, destroying all vitality on the path of life and death. Under the death force, all beings were equal. Whether withered plants or thriving areas, all withered and completely died. The death force went back and forth, plowing through the path of life and death several times in an extremely short time, completely erasing all traces of it. The land swept by death force completely lost all vitality, even more desolate than if it had been burned. Truly not a blade of grass grew, almost no different from the former territory of the Netherworld race. Then Lin Moyu waved out life force, bringing vitality to this land. Under the nourishment of life force, this land quickly burst with vitality, even releasing more vitality than the surrounding areas. Lin Moyu murmured to himself,
Life and death transformation, moving towards death to live, just like a spring compressed to its limit can always bounce higher.
Now his great Tao had changed, from a balance of 6 Taos to a state with the undying great Tao as the main and the other 5 as support. In his vision, the current undying great Tao was just connected to the other Taos, having just completed positioning. In the future, as the great Tao powers fuse, when using the undying great Tao as his innate great Tao, it would naturally mobilize the power of other Taos. By then, when the undying great Tao emerged, the time great Tao, space great Tao, and destiny great Tao might all activate together. Lin Moyu knew he had taken a new path of integrating the heavenly Taos. After erasing the path of life and death, Lin Moyu released a large number of Legion commanders with a thought. At the same time, the previously released skeleton generals and Legion commanders had all returned and were now gathered outside the valley. Lin Moyu's idea was simple. He wanted to rule this area alone, and naturally he would entrust the rule to his undead army. Now the undead army's numbers were astonishing. There were 300 billion skeleton generals, 10,000 Legion commanders, and if all the dragon riders were released, that would be 100 billion. Not counting the number of skeleton kings, the total of the undead army had reached 400 billion. In the current origin continent, there were almost no enemies that could make Lin Moyu deploy his entire undead army. Lin Moyu decided to allocate 1/10 of the skeleton generals, plus 1/10 of the dragon rider legions, to manage this land. 30 billion skeleton generals, 10 billion undead legions, a total of 40 billion combat power, each at 5th level Tao Venerable, with the legion commanders even reaching the peak of 5th level. This combat power was enough to have a say, and no one would dare to say anything. To be on the safe side, Lin Moyu also left Yenbei behind. With this 8th level Tao Venerable reborn being, they wouldn't lack high-end combat power. Lin Moyu planned this land in his mind, already thinking about how to build cities, where to build them, how many cities to build, and a series of other issues.